Boom, wide shot, and I am live. It is, what is it, January 16th, MLK Day here in the United States. I hope many of you who are watching me have the day off and have chosen to spend a couple hours with me doing this live stream. So thank you all for joining me. Let me know how the sound is. Last week you guys said it was okay, but when I listened to it back and when people watched the playback, people complained about the audio quality. So let me know, give me a big thumbs up if the audio sounds good this week, not just okay, but good. I did do some debugging of what went on last week. I think I got it figured out. So let me know. I've got a lot of thumbs up. Sound is good, kind of low. I'm going to go with low rather than bad. So if it's low-ish, go ahead and crank it up just a little bit. I don't mind raising it a little bit, but I sure don't want to get it to the point where it's clipping or anything. So I've gone up a little bit. Thank you very much, 3DHP. No taking away from the real MLK, but I really appreciate that. Tiny bit of noise sound is good. I've got my heater going. You might hear a little bit of that in the background. It's a little white noise. Wonder if this gets rid of it. Let me know if that changes it. If so, I may just have to put on a coat because that was the white noise in my garage. So let me know if that takes care of that. Gotta give the stream a minute to catch up. Let me know lots of hiss when turned all the way up, but otherwise good. And I don't want hiss. Yep, still there. I don't know what the white noise is. Let me turn that back down. Is that better? It may be quiet. I'm going to have to figure out. Never had electrical noise. Listening to both speakers, looks and sounds good. 3DHP says it's good. I'm going to give it a minute, though. I'd rather get the sound right, take a minute up front, get it good. Anyone else want to comment real quick before I go with it? I don't want a lot of noise in the background. That's for sure. Good here, Jay David. Good to see you, non-fam. Good to see you. Let's go ahead and say our hellos. 3DHP, Infinite Coder, Russ Suter, PF Dennis, Coffee to Clutch, Black Canyon Model Works. Who else we got here? James Geeter, excuse me. Let's see. If I'm missing you, I apologize. 3DHP, I've already said you. Pygar is our resident mod today. Thank you very much. But so did you. Okay, well, my volume went down. If I fix the hiss, though, I'm going to go with that. This is the volume level for the stream, so if this is what you're listening to, crank your volume up a little bit on your end, and we're going to go with that. I hope that's okay for everyone. So again, just maybe I need to switch off of using the lapel mic for these live streams. Maybe I am going to have to switch to something a little bit different. But anyway, you, sir, are going to have a difficult name to pronounce. Ashutosh. I hope I'm doing that well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So what are we doing today? We are unboxing my very first Flying Bear 3D printer. This is the Ghost 6. I have to tell you, Flying Bear is the one that contacted me about doing this review on this stream. We're doing this live stream. Which I was really happy to see. I've been looking at their printers for a long time. They've been really available on websites like AliExpress for a long time. Now you can buy them for a bit of a premium on Amazon if you want to get them from there. It seems like the best place to get them from at this point is going to be direct from the Flying Bear website. This is one I've been looking at for a while, though, because it is a CoreXY 3D printer, and it has a fully enclosed option, which is basically this little tent that goes over it, and we're going to look more at that in just a minute. So let me clean up my display here a little bit since I was getting started. We got 32 people in, but 17 likes. Please hit the like button. Let people know that we are live. And you know what I have not done? I have not sent out a social media post saying that we were going to be live today. So give me 2 seconds and I will keep talking through this, and then we're going to take a look at the specs like I always do. We're going to take a look at the specs on the screen. Make sure you smash that like button. Share on your social medias that this is what you're doing for the next couple of hours. Ben, good to see you. Ben Brady in the chat, good to see you. And Ingo McLean, good to see you too. Let me see real quick. We can go to YouTube. And all you got to do is copy that link that you see up in your bar right there. And so let me bring up my channel. And then if I just click this one, we get a link. It's going to start playing myself, which I don't want to do, but that gives me a link. Let's go head over to Twitter, everybody, and share this link. Let people know that I am live. I've been hanging out with the family today, so therefore I'm trying to do a little bit last minute, trying to get this up and running, but that's okay. I know you guys are usually pretty patient with me, so live right now on YouTube. Flying Bear Ghost 6. There we go. Pretty self-explanatory. I think I'm going to tweet that out. So if you're following me on Twitter, there's your tweet to retweet. And I'm going to go over to Facebook real quick. Let people know that I am here also. Got a pretty good size. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much, Russ. That's exactly, I really appreciate you posting that. Hopefully people on the Ender 5 Plus Pro boards don't mind you posting that. But I appreciate you doing that. It's better coming from you than coming from me, that's for sure. There we go. I've got the socials posted. I think I am good to go. Let's see what's going on. Tristan, good to see you. Really caught for this stream. Been looking for the Go 6 for a while. You know, Tristan, talking about Clipper on this machine, I think that'd probably be a really good choice. Or, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but this one, they make their source available for their Marlin. Super easy to find. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But one thing I'm really happy about is they sent me links to their firmware, to the source to their firmware, all out of the gate for this printer. So keep in mind, Marlin, what's it called? Motion compensation, whatever you want to call it. I know that's not input shaper. Marlin input shaper is now available. So you could take the source that they've released, do a upgrade to 212 kernel, do input shaper. You might not need Clipper. At least that's what I'm thinking. So maybe that's what I will try on this printer as well. Take their source, do an upgrade, do a 212 on here. Then you'll have Marlin. Won't have to add any extra Raspberry Pis or anything to it. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, let's go ahead with this. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my screen. Let's go ahead, and I've got it up here on the screen, so let me go ahead and switch to the screen share, and here we go. This is the Flying Bear website. This is the most inexpensive place to buy this printer. It's $319. There's a coupon code in the description that helps out this channel as usual. There's a coupon code in the description that will give you this Go 6 for $10 less than this, so it'll be $309 for a CoreXY fully enclosed 3D printer. So let's go ahead and look at the specs here. As you can just see by looking at it, it is a fully enclosed printer. They have, let me see where it's at. Here's a picture of the fully insulated cover. It's kind of big and bulky. We'll take a look at that when I unbox it, when I put it all together. It's kind of a big solution, but it's a solution. It comes out of this box this way. Anyway, let's go ahead and keep on going down. I've got my coffee here. I'm doing coffee today. It's, like I said, it's a little chilly here in the garage. So you'll excuse me as I take some sips of my coffee. Anyway, let's take a look at what they've got. They've got a custom extruder design. We won't be pulling that apart in this video to really take a look at what that is. We've got Wi-Fi integrated, TF card, USB, standard stuff, color touch screen, which is kind of nice. They have a flame detection function, which is supposed to detect when there is a fire in the machine. Don't know if we'll get a chance to test that in this stream because I'd end up having to kill a print to do it. I would love to do a social media post, though, where I test it, where I set a little fire inside the machine just to see if that works. But anyway, there is a flame detection function in this printer. They've got materials. As I mentioned, it is a CoreXY 3D printer. Large printer size, I don't think it's really that large. It's a pretty standard build size in my opinion. It does have silent TMC 2225 drivers. And what else has it got? Resume printing. Automatically detects the lack of material, so it's got a brake sensor in there. This is what the 1 to 7.5 ratio extruder has on it, so that's pretty nice. Comes fully pre-assembled. We're going to find out what that means. If you were here last week, or 2 weeks ago, for the printer that I built, that one said it came fully pre-assembled. There was still some assembly. It wasn't too hard, but anyway. Let's see, technical specs. Print size, 255 by 210 by 210. Again, not the largest print size. If you'll notice, it is bigger in one direction. The bed is actually 257 by 230. Again, they're just giving you some buffer there, but the height on this is only 210. So don't think you're going to be printing any helmets on this printer unless they're in pieces, because 210 definitely isn't tall enough to print a helmet. So this is for smaller pieces. It's got a 300 watt power supply, supports the usual file formats, G-code, yada, yada, yada. Machine weight is 13 kilograms. There's newer and older versions of this machine. I hope this one's the newer one. Some pictures, the parts it comes with, and again, they do have a circuit diagram, which is kind of nice. What happens if we click on that? That's a dock. I'm not going to be opening that up. And the manual is also available here, which is actually a PDF. Maybe that will come in handy. Hey, Brian. Good to see you. BV3D is in the chat. Good to see you, Brian. What else? Well, that looks pretty much like it. Again, technical specs. That is going to be it for looking over the specs. Again, you can buy it on Amazon. I sent a link to that. It's considerably more expensive on Amazon, though, than it is direct from them. So take a look. Again, $10 off if you use my the code in the description. I'm going to have my sound on, apparently. I need to turn that down a little bit. Otherwise, you guys are going to be hearing it on your end. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. But let me turn it down just a touch. Okay. What we got? I believe this one is PTFE lined, if I remember seeing the specs. The specs, I think, were up to 260 on the hot end, so it probably is PTFE. The number of printers still not coming with a all-metal hot end are pretty high. I still don't really know. Anyway, let's see. Let me move this back over here. I'll pull it back if I need to. Take a sip. All right, so the volume's kind of low. I keep hearing that. But when I turned the volume up, there was a hiss that people didn't like. So let me turn this down. I'm going to do one thing since people keep saying it. We'll do one modification. Okay. We're going to see if that helps or if people like that worse. So see if that helps. You got more white noise now. What do people think about what I just did? Better? I'm hearing Owling says better. Much better. That's better. Good here again. Okay. I hear occasional hiss, but recently added a new kitten. Yes, better. Everyone likes this. Okay, we're leaving this right here. Okay, let's go and get this thing open and see what it looks like. We'll leave it here for a second, and then I'll switch to the overhead shot. They taped the living mess out of this box to get it here from overseas, which I don't mind. Tiny bit of clipping. No, I'm going to leave it. Don't want to mess this up. Let's see, negative. Let's just do like negative. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. We're going to see if that works. Doing my best. I want it to sound good for all of you. And if I get it right, I don't know why it messed up. I don't know at what point my sound started screwing up. I used to have good sound on my live streams. Brian says I waterproof the box with the tape. I think you're right. Not to mention, if things get put on my doorstep, then they definitely get wet because it's always raining here these days. The hiss is now gone. Non-fam, thank you very much. Appreciate you letting me know. So close up and wide shot. It's a little dark, but okay. We'll just go with it anyway. All right, let's see. We got corner protectors, which are always nice. Keeps us from tearing up the box when it's in shipping. All right, throwing these off to the side. All right, we'll get to some debugging later. Ash, I'm sorry. We'll just call you Ash for now because I don't want to mess up your name too bad. So Ash, we'll get to some debugging later if we've got some time. But anyway, so here is that top piece that I was talking about earlier. This is their solution to a fully enclosed printer. I don't mind if we spend a second while I have it in this shot to take a look at what this looks like. And notice it's not just a cover. It is actually thermally insulated. It does have the aluminum coated thing, and it is actually built like a umbrella, if you can see there in the center. So I think this will work nicely. It's not quite as big either as I thought it was. It's not too bad. Let me set that off to the side. Got this. So we need a propeller top. I think that's a fantastic idea. And maybe if we could get a little heat coming out the top, maybe it would actually spin. And there is a packing list that I can't properly read because I don't speak native Mandarin. Well, Mandarin's the spoken language. I don't know what you call the written. So this we can get rid of. I'm sure someone in the chat will correct me. And all right, you see the printer is well packed. Looks good. All plastic there, all metal around here. Let me move this to the floor, and then I'll pick it up on top. It's actually a pretty heavy machine, all in the box. So I think here's the bag. Can I use the bag? No, this is going to be kind of a pain. I need to flip it over maybe. I might have to flip this one over. I don't know how they expect you to get it out. I'm just pulling up on the plastic at this point. You know, Brian, that knife is not husky. That knife is pure cobalt. That cobalt blue. There we go. Okay. I don't think that got me anywhere really. Yeah, that's the Lowe's brand. You're absolutely right. Okay, that really didn't help much. Now I just have an enclosed printer and a separate box. Anyway. I think I might actually peel this out of here because, yeah, they didn't make this easy. Let's look at there. Resourceful. It's packed well. Yeah, Major Gamer Geek, you're absolutely right. Very well packed. But I'm getting it out one way or the other. So, what's my mic doing? Apparently I'm moving around too much. Yeah, definitely ASMR. All right, now let's just pull it out the side. See, that's how you do this. And see if I can drop it. Is there anything in the bottom? Yep, there's something in the bottom. So in the bottom is actually our print bed or our front window. Maybe it's our front window. Yeah, it's our front window. Okay. So that's where that is. All right, now that I'm tired, we're done. Let's see. So that's good. Yeah, I don't know how it would get too damaged in the way that they shipped it. It's completely enclosed in that foam, and it is a really difficult thing to get out. I have to say, given how big the box is and how heavy this is, I expected it to be larger. It's clearly not. It's actually a pretty good little size printer, but it's heavy, guys. Like, given its size, and I'll tell you why. This thing it's solid. It's one big old hunk of metal, and they didn't skimp on the metal plating on this machine. So let's figure out how. I think that's a pretty good angle to get it all open and out. Hopefully there's a real manual in here. The door, let's just start pulling these out, I guess. More foam. More foam. Move this over a little bit. They didn't make unpacking this obvious. Let's just put it that way. More foam. I'll get it though. I'll get it. This is proper amounts of foam. Okay, more. I feel now I need to construct something out of foam just to save the environment from all this that I've pulled out of here. All right, how's it looking? Looking pretty good, and all of this is right here. Look at that. Look at that. So here we go. Nice bit of everything else in there. So it does come with a tiny spool of filament. It doesn't say exactly how much it is, but it looks like 100 grams to me. We've got things falling on the floor. Extra parts, I believe that one is. And we have our filament runout sensor and stuff. We have our spool holder. Tools. It comes with actually quite a bit of tools. We'll look at those in a minute. We have our US power cable. Our hot end assembly. There we go. USB. A full color printed user manual. Let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Check this out. Full color, full instructions, touch screen, parts that you should have. I saw towards the back here they even have a wiring diagram. And printers that include wiring diagram make me very happy. Makes it a lot easier to debug. If you have any problems, if you want to know where things are plugged in, how this main board is working, this is really, really nice. I like this. And I was trying to see if I could tell just by looking at it. Excuse me for messing with my mic here. Trying to see if I could just by looking at it tell what the main board was, but I can't tell easily. But let me look through here real quick. See if I can tell what's in here. It does include the specs, the packing list, and then of course assembly instructions, which is the ones that I'm going to go through to get this properly set up and moving. They do have touchscreen functionality, which you can see right there. Lots of instructions on the touchscreen, how to do the hotbed leveling, how to do your first print, scraping it off the print bed, how to tell if you're too close or too far away from the bed, which is great first time printer instructions. Software installation on your printer. I have to say, like last week we did the Lurge printer, and I complimented them on how just solid their instructions, the printed instructions that came with the machine, looked. And I have to say, I think Ghost has done an equally good job, at least just from a cursory read. They've done as good a job as I saw from Lurge last week. So again, a big high five. Thank you, Joel. A big high five to them for doing a good job on the instructions, assuming not everyone is an experienced 3D printer user that may be buying one of these. And it's really nice to see that they're taking time They're trying to walk you through. They're trying to teach you how to use your printer if it's your first printer, and I really appreciate that from them. Okay, last couple of things. We, of course, have our PTFE tube, because this is a boated setup. Well, is it? No, it's a direct drive. It's a direct drive, but that's to get the filament to the extruder. And here is an extruder. Taking a look at it, let me go ahead and get you a close-up shot. So here's the extruder. Shows you a nice, clear filament path that you can actually see. So this is where your filament's going to go in. It's got a nice filament path that you can see. Actually, this is probably where it goes in and then comes down this way. I'm guessing this does pull out a little bit to loosen the tension, but it looks good. It is plastic. It's not an all metal extruder, but it is an injection molded, probably in ABS. So it should do a good job. I'm not too worried. And if you'll notice, the gears themselves are metal. So it's a nice filament path. You can tell it's got a good look to it there. So now that I have done that part, let me take one more sip. Hope you have your beverage with you today. If you're not, you should grab one before we really get going here. Get you a nice beverage, whether it's water, coffee, tea, whatever you're into. Again, it's a holiday here in the U.S., so if you're having an adult beverage early today, that sounds good too. All right. Actually, if you're wondering, is the stepper motor large? I just saw Russ mention it there. I got coffee here, Major Gamer Geek, but anyway. It is actually a pancake stepper. So if you thought that the motor looked large, it's really not. That's I was seeing if I had another stepper motor. I usually have a stepper motor around somewhere. But it's not a full-size stepper. It is actually a reduced-size stepper motor. So thanks for bringing that up. It allowed me to point it out, because it is a 1 to 7.5 ratio stepper, or excuse me, extruder. So let's go ahead, let's get going on this. I really want to get a print going as soon as possible. And then we can really, it says it goes up to 150, 150 millimeters per second, but it is CoreXY. And I would love to think that it can do a little bit better than 150. That would be really nice. How do I want to do this? I could do assembly, but why don't I take just a second? Let's look at the machine. Again, we just took a look at the extruder. So let me go and take a minute. Let's look at the rest of the machine right here. I'm going to switch to my overhead view. And you'll see right here, this whole piece is plastic. It's injection molding just like the rest of the extruder is. But it is CoreXY. You can see the belts here. They are not Gates belts because they do not have the Gates branding on them, but they are Gates-like, meaning that they are assembled similar to the Gates. And I do think that the front side of these are probably some sort of composite material for wear. It is a cantilevered bed, but it has a lot. I mean, I'm pulling down on it a little bit, and it really does not want to move at all. So while it is cantilevered, meaning there's no supports in the front of the bed, it does seem to be well built and very well braced in the back. So as I push down on here, I don't see any motion in the bed. On the back, you can see they actually have labeled everything, which is kind of nice. Although XY motor doesn't really have the same application in a CoreXY machine, it still helps you find it on the board. And they have labeled this is the Y motor, this is the X motor, and this is the Z motor. And so all of the motors are on top of this machine, including our Z motor, which is kind of interesting, rather than building it into the bottom. It means that there's no weight on the Z motor. The Z motor is actually driving it from the top and not being pressed on at all. There's a cooling fan here in the back to exhaust heat out of here, because you do need a little bit of air circulation even if you're heating the whole chamber. So there's this little fan here in the back. Again, you've got your full-size motors here. It does look like potentially a reduced size Z motor though, right here. The only things that I'm seeing that I'd like to comment on, these pieces here on the side, which are here and here, They're plastic, but as we know, there are 3D printed printers that have all plastic parts and have no problems. So these nice injection molded, probably ABS parts, are probably going to do just fine. There's no real like wiggle here. Like I'm trying to bend this frame and I'm not getting any wiggle. They've got these nice linear rails here that are doing a good job of keeping everything nice and straight. The belts feel properly tensioned to my fingers. We have to add the extruder here. This is just the hot end portion. And one thing I just noticed that's kind of cool, let me see if I can show you in this part right here. Yeah, I think you can see it right here. There is a light strip underneath here to light up your prints. And this is in a really good location because obviously you're going to be looking at it from the front of the machine, and as you're looking at it, this will be lighting up the front of the print. So I didn't actually know that there were lights in there, and I kind of like that addition. Again, this machine, beefy construction, really heavy. So, you know, if you're like looking at the cost of the machine overall, I do think that they've spent a little bit of money on this chassis for sure. It is a beast of a chassis. There is a Wi-Fi antenna on the inside that I can't show you that easily. As I'm assembling this, I am going to try to move my camera around to be able to show you what I am building. The power supply, interestingly enough, is on the inside. It is down here in this area. But I think that about does it. I saw Jim from the Edge of Tech showed up. Jim, thank you for dropping in. It's good to see you. I did not get a fuse. They never said anything about a fuse to me. Jim was mentioning that there's a larger fuse for some of these. I will send them a question about it. Obviously, I think most of China is going to be on vacation for the next 2 weeks. They were replying to me still, but I'm trying to be respectful. A lot of those folks are on vacation for the next couple of weeks for their big holiday. Plenty of light. Looks like bamboo nightlight. Good looking cube. Just got donated an Ender 5. Oh, Scott! Scott is here. Scott Latine is here. It's got an Ender 5 Plus, or excuse me, an Ender 5 S1. Going to be testing more input shaper. Yep. Brian with the puns in the chat. So make sure you're paying attention to the chat because Brian's going to be entertaining you with his normal level of punniness. Anyway, let's go and take a look. Let's get this put together. Hello, HVAC A to Z. Thanks for dropping in. So we're going to assemble this machine. Assemble the printer. I'm not going to show you every step of the way. I don't have that much screen real estate, but we're going to do it. So the door is going to be secured with M3x8 screws. So somewhere in here, so this bag here is going to primarily be the filament runout sensor. This one looks like door pieces because I think this is the door handle. So I don't have it there, but anyway. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and move this down a little bit so I can use this camera for the assembly. I had to really raise it up because the size of that box was pretty large. Larger than the one last week for sure. So now I should be better off to show you what I'm doing. You're going to look at the side there, but there is the bag of parts for the door. So let's get the door assembled and get this thing going. We're going to pull all of my parts out here. A lot of magnetic pieces because of the door connector. So let's go ahead and get all these out of here. I think that's all of it. Surprised it's having me put the door on first, but I'm going to follow the instructions. So the door, as I mentioned, came in the bottom. It is just a piece of plexi, but it is printed with the Ghost 6 and the Flying Bear logos. We just need to get this off of here. See if it comes off, or am I going to have to get the knife to it? Ken wanted to know, did they include the canopy with it? Yes, it comes with the umbrella canopy. So I've got it right down here on the floor. So that is part of the package. And I'm looking forward to trying this out. If this is a nice machine for ABS, that would be fantastic to print little ABS parts on. So they packed it well. It's got little corner protectors. And let's go ahead and, here's your peel. Here's your ASMR. Not as nice. There we go. Let's do the other side. It is an acrylic door. Thank goodness it's not glass. I really didn't need a glass one. Let's go ahead. There's the other side. Not as satisfying. We gotta, but the acrylic door is very nice. Well protected. It's got the nice ghost stickers and everything on it, so I like that. Worst ASMR ever. Sorry, I can't control all of that. So let's go ahead. We're going to put the door on over here on this side, and it looks pretty straightforward. It does. Did they come with tools to assemble? There's a whole bag of tools here. Yes, we have tools. Yeah, most of the bed is usable on this one, Scott. We were talking about that a few minutes ago. It's a wider bed, but it's pretty typical in the Y direction. But it is a little bit longer, or excuse me, a little bit wider. So that's pretty nice. 66 people in the stream right now. If you haven't hit that like button, smash that for me while I'm sitting here pulling out the tools. It is really nice to get as many likes or more likes than we actually have people in the stream. That'd be fantastic for you guys to do for me, and I'd really appreciate it. So, next up, we've got these M3x8s that we're going to use for door assembly. I actually may pull up the instructions online and allow me to zoom in a little bit, because it did have these instructions on the website if you needed them. They're a little bit different online. Yeah, are they? Little bit different online. The ones online are not exactly the same. So, anyway, let's go ahead. Don't know which ones are newer though. So we're gonna grab this. I think it's going to be these to attach it on here. Make sure that the Go 6 is facing outward, or it's going to look a little silly. And Thomas is going to come back when we're finishing. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get this assembled. Make sure that when you're assembling the plastic pieces, particularly these Lexan or clear plastic pieces, that you are not over tightening. It's really easy to crack these if you overdo it. I'm just finger tightening them to begin with, and I'll just come up with just a little bit of a nudge to get them tightened. Anyone subscribing, I appreciate it. If this is your first stream because you have recently saw my Iron Man video, thanks for joining me. I hope you're interested in getting into 3D printing, because I do a lot of that on this channel, and that's going to continue to be the case as I finish up the Iron Man builds. So if this is your first 3D printer you've seen, I think this is a really interesting one. It's not your typical build. It's a little bit more, I don't know what I'd call this one. I'd almost call it industrial because of the chassis. But there's a lot still that's real user-friendly, and they have included a lot of information for the newbie printer in it. Make sure I've got this in about the right place. And that does look like it is installed properly. All right, now we're going to put on the handle. Okay, yep, there it is. I think the manual, the printed manual, actually looks newer than the online manual. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it does appear to be newer to me. So this goes in here. This goes on the outside so that we have something easy to grab. And we're going to start by, which one's that? That's the little screwdriver that it comes with. Let's get that assembled. I think that goes to here. There we go. I'm going to put the little thumb spot on the outside. Tighten that up a little bit. And now this one's actually magnetic, and it's got a little magnetic snap to it. So that's nice. All right. Next up, we are going to install the extruder, and I think I'll be able to use my overhead shot for here. I might actually have to go back up here on the camera to get a good shot of the extruder installation. So moving to the extruder, this mic is bothering me a little bit. Hey Dave, how you doing? Good to see you as always. Install the extruder. I'm going to actually see about the extruder installation instructions online. A little bit easier to read, I think. Install the extruder and fix with M3/8. So we got those. Where is the extruder? The extruder was this piece. I don't know what this little funky piece hanging out right here is. Anyway, let me go ahead and give me 2 seconds. Let me fix something real quick. Oops. We will get this going. Oh, that's right. Okay, we're going to go with it then. We're not going to change anything. Sorry, a little bit of a production thing I was looking into. All right, let's take a look. We're going to attach the extruder. Go and switch to the close-up shot. Yep, that's a good shot for me to do that with. All right, so we are going to install the extruder and fix it tight with M3/8 screws from both sides. That's probably these first ones I pulled out here. Install the extruder harness and fix below with tie. Tighten the M3/8 screws before are flat. Okay, so all right, I'm following the instructions here because they are pretty specific on where everything is, and I'm trying to just make sure that I see everything. So the way this is supposed to work, now this did come with an additional hot end. It's not full hot end, but the additional nozzle with heat break. And it's got everything installed already, but this is an extra one. It does already have one installed here, so this is just a bonus one in case you have any problems. You got a spare. I like spares. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Obviously, the filament path should be towards the front. And you have the red part sticking up here, the red PTFE tube. So as we were asking, is it all metal? No, it's definitely not all metal. It's definitely got a PTFE tube in it. That's right here. We're going to plug this in here. And kind of curious where that goes. Okay, so I think the cabling comes out to this way. And then we're going to, what does this do? Does that come out? I don't actually know what that's for. Are they showing that in the picture? Yeah, they're showing, oh, it's where we tie all of our cables to. So I'm trying to figure out what this little hangy piece that hangs off of here is for. And apparently this is where we attach our cable harness to. So we're going to pull that off to the side. This then goes in here. All right, like this, something like that. All right, make sure our holes line up, and that should be it right there. Yep, and we are going to, trying to figure out my cabling here. This is not the most straightforward assembly I've ever seen. So we're going to take this. There's no good way to show this to you, I don't think, but I'm going to keep trying. So give me 1 second as I try to get a good look at it. I think that's probably pretty good right there. I can't get you around to the back side as well. So let's go ahead, switch it around. I have to be able to do this while showing it to you, but it's kind of more involved than I'd expect it to be. So right here, this, according to what I'm reading, goes down here, and then this is going to go up here. Some cable ties in this area. This is going to plug in. At least that's what I'm reading. So I'm going to go ahead and get these M3 by 8. And get the right tool for the job. And then there's screw holes on both sides around this area, and that should connect everything up. Let's see, am I getting it in there? Maybe. It's kind of hard to see. That's not going in great. Let's try the other side since it's easier for me to see. And if we get that side lined up, then the side I'm trying to do should line up. Okay, yeah, I've got that one going in now. Okay, I don't want to over tighten it yet. Let's get the other side in too. Yep. Let's get this in here. Now, this hole over here is not lining up great. Let me go against what I was saying and actually have to move this around so I can actually build this, because I can't see this hole properly. It needs to be pushed down. Yeah. Now that I can see it, it goes in much better. There we go. Now that I've got both sides lined up, should be able to go ahead and tighten it down. Again, these are plastic parts in this area, although I do think that they are going into metal inserts. But just don't go crazy if you're assembling one of these machines. Make sure that you're not over tightening. There we go. That feels like it's in there. And then I was looking at the cable routing, and looks like I need to simply take this cable, the wire, back around to you so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to take this cable around here. Then I can zip tie that and go ahead and plug in my motor, which goes right there. The motor plugs in right there. That should control the extruder. And then I zip tie this to keep everything from moving. So there should be some zip ties in one of my little baggies, and there is. We'll go through what else is in these bags in just a minute, but it looks like I need 2 zip ties to zip up this wiring harness right here. We're going to go around this way. James, I think that is a very good poll. Who's considering this printer that's watching the stream? Either you'd seen it before and wanted to know more about it, or this is your first time seeing it and going, that looks like a pretty interesting printer. Dave doesn't want it. Dave, we know you got plenty of machines. Dave doesn't need one more. We're going to do that one. And we're going to take this one. I've been looking at this one for a while. To be honest, the only thing that had kept me from pulling the trigger on it was just the size of the bed. I typically like larger machines, kind of like Dave. But the $300 price tag-ish, around $300, is a really good price for this machine, I think. I mean, particularly when you look at the overall size of the machine. We got 64 people watching. Good to see every one of you. It does come with some snips. I'm going to need those. Let me grab the snips out of here. And we'll snip off these. And I believe the extruder is now done. So there's the extruder assembly. It is on there very nice with just two M3 screws holding it on. Super stable. Now this is also being held on. I like the way that they did this wiring harness. It looks really good. I'm pretty happy with it. So there we go. Let's go ahead and see what is next. That takes care of step 3 of the extruder assembly. Next up, we need to install the Teflon tube bracket, which is going to go to the side of the machine. So, again, not a light machine by any sense of the word. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the wide shot, because I think what I'm doing now is just as good wide as it is close up. So we're going to now move to this side of the machine, and we need to install the tube bracket, which I saw in here. And we're losing more and more plastic, which is great. So here we have the filament runout sensor. And then we have some little brackets and screws and stuff, which we don't want to lose. So I'm going to carefully save that off. Excuse me while I get a drink. Speaking of Dave, hey Dave, you can see I got your clock back here in the background, so I appreciate that. I wanted to point it out. This is Dave Wilson's clock. Dave is in the chat. Be sure to check out Dave's channel. It's really, his is a lot of fun. He shows all of his little projects off, which are just fantastic. And he shows which his new printers are. Oh, and Dave got his new t-shirt today, which Dave is a Patreon supporter. If you want to know about these t-shirts, which I'm wearing, let me show you the back. There's the back of that t-shirt. These t-shirts are going to be available soon for everyone, but I did want to give them to my Patreons first. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you already know where to buy these t-shirts. If you're not a Patreon supporter, you'll find out soonish when I share them with everybody. Anyway, I'm glad you bought one, Dave. I hope you like it. Next up, install this Teflon bracket. So it's got a little bracket for our Teflon tube, and it shows us exactly how to install that. We need M36s, which are in the same bag. And Dave Bishop says, thanks for the Marlin firmware for the E5 Plus with the SKR 1.4 turbo. Been using it for some time now. It's awesome. Hoping you'll eventually show how to upgrade some same machine for the Clipper. Okay. We got more Clipper requests, which are absolutely fantastic. I am going to be doing some more with Clipper. I am going to also be doing some stuff with the new Marlin release. So props to Scott, who's in the chat with us, for all of his hard work on the latest Marlin releases. I am going to be doing some more stuff on the channel soon with that. Yeah, I mentioned you can buy this printer off of Amazon. The link is in the description. They did send me that, but that is not the most inexpensive way to buy it. It's actually pretty expensive off of Amazon, but their website has it for just over $300, and if you use my coupon code in the description, you'll save an additional $10 off of that price. So Marlin 213 is going to be dropping soon with a few good patches. Good to know. I'll be looking for that as I'm working on the video. There we go. So this is going to be our PTFE tube guide. That's where the PTFE tube is going to come in. Now we're going to do our filament runout sensor. Install the filament detection sensor in the position shown. So that is going to be right down here. And what do we use to install that? The other M3 screws. I'm going to install that right here. Not sure about how they wanted us to do that, really. M36. It's not the right way to do that really. So I'm looking at this harness that I have to install, or excuse me, this mount that I have to install for the filament runout sensor, and it's not really how I would want it done. So there's threads in this. Is it supposed to be from the inside? Aha, hold on, maybe I was wrong, not them. It looks like I'm supposed to install this from the inside. Is that right? Install the filament. I think I install it from the inside. All right, so the threads are actually on this bracket, which means that I need to go through the machine to the bracket, not the other way around. That's what it is. So they don't really spell that out correctly or well in the instructions, at least not the way I was reading them. So there we go. Let me go ahead and get this. Let me get in here. This is not the easiest way to install this. Does this show you anything? It shows you nothing. Okay. The bed's kind of in the way, and so I would have to drop the bed. I'm trying not to have to do that. I'll get it. It's just going to take me a minute more than I want to. I appreciate that. What is it? Doogie Prince. I appreciate you watching and appreciating what I do here. I enjoy the actual live streams. I think they're a lot of fun. Oh, look, I can get that out of my way. I actually enjoy the live streams, but I've mentioned it in the past. I enjoy the live streams because I enjoy hanging out with you guys while I do it. It's more fun than doing it by myself. So I'm going to get one of my screwdrivers to do this, which is going to make this a little bit easier to do than using theirs. Their tool is functional. That is the wrong size. Their tool is functional, but this is going to be a lot faster. Oh yeah, night and day. All right, so let me grab this screw also. These ball head screwdrivers are way better than just the normal square head hex keys. That made my life so much easier. There we go. Okay. So now the filament runout sensor's on there. You see this? It spins. Never really understood when you see something like this, and they made it like, I think, never mind. Okay, I'm thinking out loud. That's why I stumble sometimes. I think they've made this to where it can move depending on the size of the spool and depending on where the spool is sitting. It allows this to move a little bit to not get caught up or to bind your filament. That's why they have this. So I was about to sort of harp on this, but I think it's a good solution mechanically for what they were trying to fix. Okay, so that's on there. Next up, they want, what are they showing me to do? They want me to go ahead and take the runout sensor wire, and it comes out the little hole in the side here. That was just hanging in the case. And now I can attach it to the filament runout sensor right there. And so now it at least holds it in place a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Yep, plugged in. And they're even showing that there's a little, where do they want me to put this? So there's a little tie down that I can use to hold it in place and keep it nice. It's weird though. I don't know where they're actually showing me to do this. They're acting like that there's a hole right beside this hole to actually use this tie down, but I don't see one. So maybe you could use it on the inside? Yeah, I think that's what they're telling me to do. They're telling me to take one of the ones on the inside, back it off. This is the best I can read on this. I'm going to pull off one of these screws, the one on my left facing the inside of the case. Then I can take the little tie down, put that around the wire, and this is actually going to attach the wire to the inside of the case so that I don't have to worry about it falling into the print or into the print bed area. Again, every time I touch anything inside of here, it's not easy to get it back in space. So not the easiest assembly. I know why this doesn't come assembled. It doesn't come assembled because you don't want to break off these things, and it does ship a lot better the way it is. But there we go. I do have it on there. All of this is doable. It's just some of this isn't the easiest thing in the world. Howdy, Gary. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. All right. Again, all these misnomers about 100% assembled. Well, not 100%. Like, let's be honest. There's not 100% assembly. Like, otherwise, this would have been a much shorter part of the stream. So we're going to now attach the filament holder. The filament holder has a little bear on it, a little flying bear. The flying bear emblem should be facing up because that's where your spool is going to sit. So we're going to face that up, and then it's real easy. These are just a screw-on part here, and we're going to screw that back together inside the chassis. And then our filament holder will be in place. All right. I think we are about done. We got the Teflon tube. The Teflon tube is going to go from the hot end, the top of the extruder here, all the way around to the side here. So let's go ahead. This goes in here, but just barely. Like, actually, I'm not sure. It may have been the other way when they originally assembled. So that's just barely going to go in there because all this is guiding. Since the extruder is here, it's not a Bowden tube. Since the extruder is here, just barely has to go here. I'm going to push that in. Okay. And then this is going to go down through this guide that I installed on the side. And that is then going to go into this other end here. So it's a very nice filament path. You can see I can take this all the way to this far corner, and it can make it there just barely. They made this as short as possible. That nicely goes in there. That's the Bowden tube. Actually, Bowden tube, but not a Bowden extruder. It tells me to go ahead and check my input voltage. It is already set for 115. That is down here. Like I said, the power supply is inside the printer. And it tells me there are some videos, and they also give me their support email address, the support@3dflyingbear.com. They put that in here, and it does look like we are ready now to do a test print. Now, obviously, we haven't finished with all of our unpacking, our unwrapping, because I just was jumping ahead with the assembly. But let me go ahead. We've got some extra screws here. We have an extra whole hot part of the hot end assembly. As you can see, it's got an extra nozzle with an extra heat. I mean, this is really nice because if you're a first-time printer, I know when I had my first couple of printers, you would screw something up and be like, I am screwed. All of this is messed up. Now I have to go on Amazon and buy more parts. They include this with the machine, which is really nice. Again, extra screws so you can tighten things down. They included all of our tools, so all of our various hex keys that we need, a small screwdriver, a small wrench that's going to be used on everything from our couplings here to our nozzle. All of that is included here. And I want to show you this. They have not only included the two wrenches, but this is a neat little custom wrench that I'm hoping that this fits the nozzle. So you actually have an enclosed wrench for the nozzle, am I right? Yes. Check that out. Let me zoom in here because I love this. Check that out. You actually have a nozzle wrench. So you have the wrench, which normally, you know, this works for the nozzle, obviously, or should work for the nozzle. It doesn't. This one's for the nozzle, and it's a nice little wrench, and I really like that. So that's really cool. including a nozzle wrench. I don't know if anyone does that. Well, I've seen it. I take that back. I think one of my Crowdy printers did come with a nozzle wrench. So all of that. Again, we did have the spool of filament, which I'll let you guys vote. Not yet. Don't vote yet. I'll let you vote in a minute whether we use the stock spool that it came with or whether you want something colorful and nice that I pull out of my stack of filament. Again, it comes with the USB cable, which we're obviously not using today, but I'm glad they include it because I hate digging around for one of these if I'm new to 3D printing. I have a power cable, so I won't use that, but it does come with my power cable. It did come with a new set of snips, which every printer, I don't care how many of these I have, every printer should come with snips. You can't guarantee people have these, and they are just essential if you have to cut off the end of the filament in order to, you know, spool up your printer correctly. What else we got here? It does come with a spatula. Again, printers should still be coming with these. These don't cost much when the companies buy them in bulk, and they have included it, which makes me really happy. They even included a stylus. In case you have fat fingers like me, like a lot of guys I know have fat fingers, it does come with a stylus, which I really do appreciate as an add-on. What else we got? We have a nice needle in case you need to clean out your nozzle. So it does come with a clean out needle, and it comes with tweezers. I'm not 100% sure what you're going to need these tweezers for. Maybe you're pulling off supports, who knows? But I never turn down tools, and actually these are decent tweezers, so good on them. Obviously our USB that we're going to need. So anyway, just happy to see that they're including so much with the machine. They're not expecting you to already have all of these parts or have to rush out and buy them. So again, I'm happy to see companies, between the instruction manual that I'm seeing, between all the tools that it comes with. I'm going to leave some of this out because I'm going to use it. But overall, I'm just real happy to see everything that they've included with this machine. So straightening up here, and then we're going to launch this up, see if I've missed any other packaging. Turn this way. Nope, I'm not dropping it off the table. We have, this is the satisfying peel of the whole thing. There's your satisfying ASMR. There's uncovering the display. The next piece is obviously we need to get our build plate out of here. Build plate is stuck down, it looks like. They've screwed this down in some way? I think they are. So we're just going to take this off. It does look like they have screwed the glass build plate in so that your clips don't get in the way. Let me show you here. Yeah, let's see if we can. I think it's going to want to focus here, but I'm talking about these down here. So there we go. I think that's going to help a little bit. So down here they have two clips. These clips have little set screws underneath the bottom of the clips. And so that just adheres it down. It's not going to slip on you, obviously. That is just, it's really not going to move the bed. So you can obviously get it off. It comes with the screws to move it, or the hex keys to move it, but that's down there. There we go. So I think that's all the packaging. We're not going to obviously put on our lid here. We don't need that right now. There we go. Let's go ahead. I'm going to turn this to face the camera so that you guys can see the first power up. Let me grab this camera as I pull it down here and move it back. I think that will give us a good shot of this. I'm going to move it around as we go. That will give you a good shot of the screen. Let's go ahead and grab my power cable. I'm going to plug it in. And there's a nice power switch back here on the back. And we're just going to click it and we'll see if it comes on. We got a beep. And we have a Flying Bear logo. And we have a beautiful little touchscreen. And you see full color touchscreen here. See if I need to move this in. There we go. So here's the touchscreen. Pretty good shot there. We are going to need to do some leveling. This does not have any sort of auto leveling that I can see on it. Even on our little screen here, you can see they include information about leveling properly, what kind of squish we're looking for, that kind of thing. All right. I don't really need that at this point anymore, I don't believe. Touchscreen functionality, again, they include a lot of information about touchscreen functionality, preheat, printing, hotbed leveling. There's a video, so they have a video. They have a QR code to a video on the website that talks about how to level properly. Step 1, press the power switch, move to main interface, XYZ. Okay, we're going to go ahead and home, it says, so let's do that. Move. Apparently pressing the XYZ in the center homes it. There we go. It's raising up. Very quiet. This thing's not making any noise whatsoever. There we go. So, not making any noise whatsoever. It's really, really quiet. Let me switch around. I'm going to have to move to the front of this machine so that I can see the screen as well as you can. I just knocked over a bunch of foam, which was bound to happen. So now we've done that. Click the order shown below to open the leveling guide. And then we're going to level it up. So, okay, so we're going to go back. We go to Tool. And then we go to Leveling. And now we simply go to the 4 points and level. Seems pretty straightforward. And it says, you know, we're trying to, yeah, all right. We could preheat at this point, which most people would prefer. I'm going to preheat so that people don't fuss at me for not doing so. There's been some studying done on whether it actually makes any difference whatsoever to preheat. We're going to preheat for PLL. Notice they are planning on you printing ABS on this printer. ABS is one of the options. It's one of the reasons that it comes enclosed. So, there we go. Yep, so we're preheating. Yep, PLA. It is coming up to temperature here on the front. We can see it. So we're up to 57. We're going to let this preheat for a second. I'm going to check in with the chat because I can't see those from the angle that I was sitting at. It's colorful. Everybody likes the colors, which I agree. It's not necessary, but it looks good. Is that a Bane bust print from Star Wars? It is. That is my Cad Bane behind me. Check it out. I got some shorts on the channel and on other social medias you may like. So Steven commenting on how inexpensive this machine is. Absolutely, it is. And I don't think it's always been this inexpensive, but whatever. It is now. And by the way, you can see this light here. Notice how bright it is in there. That is that light that I was showing you in the front. So there is that LED light strip in there. Yep. There we go. Let's go ahead and should be about up to temp, at least enough for leveling. It is at 195 and 50. That's enough for me. So I'm going to go to Tool, go to Leveling, and now I just go to each of the points and level it up. I am going to use my feeler gauges, thickness gauges, whatever you want to call them. I use my smallest, which is the .04. So got my feeler gauges here. That's what I'm going to use for doing this. I'm going to go to the first point. It's just labeled 1 here. So it rehomes. And it's going to move over to that first location. Now I can tell that there was definitely, this is not the first time this printer's been printed with, there is some filament already soaking out here or creeping out of the nozzle. So they did run some test prints on this machine. I'm going to get my feeler gauge under there. So as you can see probably right here, there's that filament that was oozing out. We got to get that off first. And then we're going to tighten it up. Looks like I actually need to adjust my Z offset first. So I'm going to just raise the Z first on this point. So let's raise the Z offset up a little bit. We're a little bit too far away to level this properly, so we're going to just set this first corner up. Still got a little ooze coming out there. I'm going to do some bed leveling. And you know, so before anyone comments, or I'm sure you will comment, I am a big fan of just manual bed leveling. I don't care at all. All right. And we can do adjustments by 0.1 and 0.01 increments. So we should be able to get this nice and level. Once I get this first corner done, the rest of them should be a lot easier. Alright, about got this first corner. It's actually a little bit more trouble than I expected. So we're going to have to go around a couple of times anyway. Alright, let's go ahead and back off here. So I've got a Z offset of about 201 it looks like, plus a little bit of leveling there. Let's try 2 here. Doesn't want to move too fast in this process. My head is going to get in the way here. And I'm not going to adjust the Z offset at this point. We're going to just do the knobs. Alright, that's a good start on that one. We'll go around a couple of times to make sure we get this good and level. Alright. Okay, let's go around to the last one, and then we'll make one more trip around the bed before we call it level. Thank you, HVAC, for the $19.99. Are you out of your mind? I've been watching Joel so much. $19.99. Are you out of your mind? Coffee break time. I appreciate it. I will get me a bit of coffee once I have gone around this bed one time, and I appreciate your contribution to the coffee fund. That is something that keeps me going. And that looks pretty good. All right, so let's go around one more time. And what I'm going to do also, there's a Z home button right here. And I'm going to make sure that we are homed properly real quick before. Okay, so we're now re-Z homed. I'm going to tighten up this one more go around. All right, that one's pretty good. We'll go back to 2. right. I questioned that Z offset, whether it was saved or not. And it was. Okay. You go around the second time and you're like, did I do anything the first time? Because I swear I did. Alright. I'm apparently going to have to go around 3 times because now I'm questioning how far I was away the last time. Alright. Do this one. This one's requiring a little bit more manual leveling that you usually see from a printer that's obviously been printed with already. Don't know what the deal with that is. But there we are. Okay. I'll get this close. Make sure that I'm pretty happy with it, and then we'll just go ahead with the test print. I'm going to hold you guys up on the first perfect level. Okay. One more time. Just want to check that first quarter again since I've moved it quite a bit. Okay. Apparently I have been moving this enough to where it still needs some work. The wheels are turning freely, yes. I will probably, being honest with you, I'll probably go back and redo this level with the wheels all the way down after we're done. But I'm trying to do this quickly. And so I'm not really worried a whole lot about it keeping level from what I'm doing right now. So that's a good point. What I'm doing now isn't what I will do long term. This is just kind of the quick way of doing it. Otherwise, I would lower the wheels and spend a little bit more time getting it just right. All right, and then one more to number 4, and I think we'll be good. Definitely don't want to scratch into this glass bed, though, my first time printing. All right, so I think we're good. I hope we're good. Let me back up here a minute and see if we're pretty good. Let me take that coffee break. And it's kind of bright on the screen there, I realize, because we got a lot of brightness going on. And I'm going to be adjusting this camera when we do go to the full shot here. So let me go ahead. It looks like it's about time for our test print. So I've got my USB drive that it came with. So I'm pulling out the 4 gig SD card that came with it. It has the memory card. I'll pop this down a little bit. All right, so you can see USB printing on the front, SD card printing on the front. We're going to pop this in here. I'm assuming it's going to be in this direction. All right, pop that in and go back. I'm going to use my little stylus it came with. There's Wi-Fi set up here. There's advanced stuff. Let's go through the menu. Can you guys see the menu? You can see it all right. There's leveling. There's the end stops that we can test if the end stops are triggered. We can turn off the voice. Button sounds, end stop sounds, print completion, no filament tones. Definitely want to turn on that. Yep, I'm going to turn on that no filament tone. Well, we're not going to turn that on right now because we haven't put filament in it yet. We got Wi-Fi settings when it's time to set up our Wi-Fi. Anyway, just going through those a little bit. We're already preheated. Let's make sure that it's going to show up our SD card. Okay, it doesn't have filament, it knows that. So there's only one G code. It's written in Chinese. I don't know Chinese. So this is where we're going to go into our next step. We go ahead. Let's do this one. All right, everybody. And that's right over my face. Which, that's not helping at all. Okay, let's just do that then. Time for a poll. I think I can do that right here in the stream, right? Isn't there a poll option? Start a poll. That's a good question. We're going to say stock. I'm going to call this poll which filament? And then we're going to say I'm going to say stock spool that it comes with, or are we going to use a random spool? I'm going to let you guys choose which one you want to see me do. There we go, everyone. Participate in the poll. We're not doing ABS. I don't think the stock is going to be ABS. So the temperature settings are probably not going to be set up for ABS. Otherwise, I've got an ABS spool over here I could pull out, but I'm pretty sure the temperature is not going to be right for it. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to do this, and we will give that test print a shot. By the way, the test print, I'm almost positive, is a screw and a nut. I've seen it in the documentation here, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a screw and a nut. We're going to print those two. Should be pretty quick print. And then we test accuracy by seeing if right off the print, right off the build plate, if they come right off and screw together. What we got? All right, so about to close this one. We got 60 people watching. We got 84 likes. Thank you, everyone. You have done your job. We have more likes than we do viewers. I really appreciate that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to call this one. We're going to end the poll. And we got 66% saying random spool. So I'm going to find something random to print with. But it needs to be reasonably normal print temperatures because that's what's going to be in the stock settings here. I think I know what I want to use. Is this it? What's this one? What's this one? That's PETG. That's not useful. Searching for filament. Searching for filament. You know what? I'm going to do something really random, guys. All right, so this is a little bit old, so I hope it's okay. This is my AMOLED bronze-filled filament. I don't actually think that there's real bronze in here. There might be. But I think it's going to make a really nice screw and nut. I love this filament. I have printed some beautiful prints out of this filament. And this is kind of random for this machine. But it does have a very normal print temperature. It is 190 to 220, which is a pretty broad range for filament. And let's hope that this isn't... Is it too brittle to print with? Now that I'm talking about it, or just the end? Maybe it's just the end. All right, we're going to go for this. If it doesn't work, I'll choose a different one. But I thought this was kind of cool. It'll produce a really nice screw, that's for sure. So on the side here, pretty simple. I don't really need to show you guys how to load filament. At least I don't think I do. I mean, I don't mind. Let's go ahead and just go through the process. So if I turn it this way a little bit, you should be able to see it on this camera. All right, so let's show you how to load filament. For any noobs in here, this is going to go on here. Again, let me show you this. This is an AMOLED. Very nice filament. You can find this on Amazon. I can probably put a link in the description after this stream. It's going to go through our filament runout sensor. You'll notice the filament runout sensor lights up when it detects the filament properly. And then that's going to go through there. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit, and then it's going to go into our tube, which is then going to route to our hot end. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to press this all the way up till it stops, and I'm going to see if there's a load and an unload feature. Why is the sensor so loose? I was talking about that. It's so that it can move around with your spool. If your spool is bigger and it needs to move a little bit, this gives it some wiggle room. I was talking about that earlier. I think it's a good engineering decision. So I'm going to push this until it stops. All right? Let me get this book out of the way. I think I'm done with it, at least for now. I'm going to scoot this back around to show you what I'm doing. Again, if you're an experienced 3D printer and you don't need to see all this, I'm sorry, but we're trying to give the noobs a bit of a, here's how to do it. All right? Let me go around to the other side of the printer. And I'm going to see if there's a load and unload filament button. And we're already heated. I don't need to do anything there. And so it looks like there is a load. So that's going to push it right into my bed, though. So let me go ahead and I want to move the bed down a little bit. Cancel. We don't want to print yet. It remembered that I tried to print earlier and then it told me that it didn't have any filament. It remembered that and it was actually trying to then see, hey, do you mean it? I'm moving the bed down, or trying to. So it's funny, they went with proper Marlin settings here. So Z plus means further away. Uh-oh. What are we hitting? Is there something we're hitting? So that's Z minus, that's proper. Z plus. Z plus. It is stuck. Uh-oh. It is binding or something. What is going on there? I'm glad I did this first. So that moves just fine. Then we go back the other way. And we do it again. It is not wanting to go down any further. Oh, okay, my fault. My fault. I did not see this, and this was not in the instructions, obviously. It has cardboard. It's got cardboard. 2 pieces of cardboard, keeping those safe and secure. Make sure you remove the cardboard, people. All right, now we should be able to Z plus it, and it will keep going down. Okay, that didn't make any sense. So I'm glad I sorted that out. Oh, and by the way, you're not going to be able to see this, I don't think, all the way on the back here, but if you need to adjust your Z offset, there is actually a screw here that you can adjust your Z in stop also. So, you know, we were talking about earlier, I might need to, like, these springs weren't compressing enough or whatever. That's how I can fix that. There is a Z offset adjustment back here as well, a manual Z offset. Anyway, so that is pushed back. Now I'm going to go to filament loading, 10 millimeter. Let's just go ahead and feed in that filament until it starts coming out. Am I actually feeding? No, I don't think I'm actually feeding in properly yet. Let me see. There we go. Now it's grabbing. It wasn't grabbing the filament to begin with. Now I hear it. We're going to keep going until that is coming out the end there. Hold on, let me see. I'm not liking the sounds I'm getting out of that filament, but it's fine, I guess. Looks fine to me. Is it actually feeding? Yes, as I was mentioning earlier, they do have their full firmware source available. There we go. All right, so now you're seeing that filament coming out. We successfully loaded the filament using the load and unload. And we can back up and grab this and get that off of there. I think we're going to try to print now. So we go to print. There's only one G code on here, which I can't read. And then we're going to confirm. And then it does show what we're going to print. What is that? Well, it's some sort of mechanical piece. Not the screw and nut that I thought it was going to be. It's some sort of mechanical piece for the machine. All right, we're going to do it with it because that's what's on here. We're going to say it is heating up at this point. It looks like we're going to 60 degrees and 200. I'm going to hit more, which is going to give me a layer stop setting. So I can set which layer I want it to stop on, which is fantastic. We also have Z offset, and we also have our fan that's in the back here. So a lot of settings going on. If you didn't catch all that, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead to Z offset in case I need to make dynamic changes to my Z offset, in case we're cramming it into the board, which it does look like I am a little bit. I think I am scratching it up quite nicely. Maybe I fixed it. Did I fix it? Did I get the Z offset right? I think I did fix my Z offset. You guys are going to have to be patient with me as I figure this out. Yep, okay, I fixed that Z offset. And then I'm going to move you guys in to where you can see a lot better of what I am doing here. There we go. Pretty good shot. Pretty happy with where that is. The machine's very quiet. That filament sensor, though, is making a lot of noise. Oh, that's why. Okay. Fix the filament sensor. That was easily adjustable. So it looks like we've got a good first layer going down here. That ticking was the filament sensor. It wasn't sitting on the screw quite right, and I moved it over just a little bit, and now it's moving freely. So that was not the extruder. The extruder's doing just fine. First layer is going down pretty good too. So there we go. Going down pretty good. There we go. Let me know what you think about that shot. It looks pretty good here. So I've got some questions about STL and how to print. So STLs are what the actual models are. You get the models from a designer or from any of these downloads places, and you're going to take that STL and you go to what's called a slicer. And that slicer is going to take your STL, you're going to give it all the settings that you need to actually print for your printer, filament temperatures, speeds, things like that. And then it's going to turn it into all of the slices that you need to actually print. And that puts out a G code. The G code is what goes on the SD card for actual printing. So you don't print an STL, you print a G code, which was produced by a slicer. I hope that makes sense. Let's see what is going on. Jump back in. What are your thoughts so far? So far, so good. Manual bed leveling was a bit rough on this printer. I don't know. It could have just been me. Always keep in mind when you're doing something live, it feels a little bit different than doing it if I was just sitting here at my desk. So the manual bed leveling was a little rough. But as you can see, I'm printing. I adjusted that Z offset as I was printing that those first few lines, and I adjusted the Z offset, and now I'm printing just fine. I'm pretty happy with that. I agree, I am a touch too close with that, by the way. I agree with that assessment. And before maybe we print the actual part, I can get it adjusted, because it does still look like it's doing a brim. So let me get a little bit further away. That may be too much. Or not. Yeah, I'm getting, it's not the cleanest print you've ever seen at this point. I don't know if I just went too far. Let me switch to the finer adjustment. By the way, I am adjusting the Z height here. So I'm trying to adjust the Z height. It could be this filament too. I usually don't have any problems printing with this filament. But if you hear any clicking, it's still that run out sensor. I'm getting it a little bit smoother. I actually appear to have been too far away. I'm going closer and it's cleaning up those lines a lot more. So I was too far away is what it was. I over-adjusted, overcompensated when I was trying to get it off of the print bed to not scrape it up. Now I'm getting much nicer lines on here. So I hope you can see that. Those middle lines are much better. I'm at an offset of about 0.3 right now. And I'm going to leave it right there, I think, because those lines are looking much, much better. So now we're about to start the inside of this model. Yeah, so it's looking good. Do they have a slicer? I'll have to look at the documentation to see which slicer they recommend. These lines are looking a lot better now. So it looks like I've got the Z height just right. Let's look, Jim. Jim's asking, Jim Edge of Tech is asking about the slicer and which one they have. They do have it in the manual. They use Cura. So it comes with a Cura. In the book it says Cura 412, which isn't too old. It's not a Cura 5, but that's not too bad. And then they have all of the settings to add your printer manually. And a little adhesion problem. I'm still possibly a little too far away because I'm not getting really clean adhesion between my lines. So I'm going a little bit closer to clean those lines up a little bit more. So if you're looking at this, keep in mind first layer has as much to do with me dialing it in properly as the printer printing it properly. But I think it's looking pretty good. All right, that's getting better and better. Nope, it is a Cura system, and like I was saying, it includes all your start G code, your end G code, the settings for your printer, includes even the settings. I know you can't see this because I'm small and far away, but it does include all of the settings, like here's the layer height you want, here's the wall thickness you want, here's the printing temperatures you want. All of that is included here. Then they do have a QR code in the manual for actually downloading that screw and nut. Remember I was telling you a few minutes ago, I thought this first print would be a screw and nut. It's not a screw and nut. It's actually some sort of, I don't know, someone mentioned a tool holder or someone. I'm not 100% sure. But there is the STL download for the screw and nut if you want to slice that as your first slice, and then you can print that as a good test print. So, by the way, yeah, if you hear any clicking, it's not the extruder. The extruder is doing fine. It's just this spool, the filament runout sensor is just making a little bit of noise because it's sitting on that screw. It does have Wi-Fi installation instructions, so here's how to set up this printer to connect directly to Cura. That first layer I didn't get perfect. It's a little far away still. It does look like it's at least adhering properly now, but it looks fine. Hello, Ron. How you doing? Good to see you. Again, they include a lot of troubleshooting instructions in here. Here's what to do if, you know, the extruder's not sounding right. Here's what to do if there's noise. Apparently how to maintain it. So a lot of good information in there. Does look like it's printing very well now. First layer had some problems, but again, as I was mentioning, the first layer was me problems, not printer problems. The first layer, the bed leveling adjustment was a little rough for me. I'll figure it out later. I'll get the bed height just right. I'll get that first layer printing beautifully. We'll get to that in a minute. You guys are asking about speed. One thing at a time. So first layer was me. I need to do some layer adjustment. I was getting it dialed in just right. We got close, but yeah, not quite right. We'll see what these subsequent layers look like. People are asking about speed. Yeah, they've got it printing very conservatively at this point. So I think what we'll do is speed this up in just a minute to see what it can do. And then maybe I'll adjust the camera a little bit to where we see what the nozzle is doing rather than this upper, which we're not getting a very good look at the print. All right, so we're real conservative here. This thing will go up to 150, I know. So what I want to do is we're going to speed it up because we're not going to print this whole model at this speed. That's crazy for a CoreXY. They're going for quality here instead of speed, but let me go ahead. I want to adjust my camera to give you guys the best look at that print as we can. I don't know how well that is looking for you. Being in a box here, there's only so much I can do on what I want this to look like. Yeah, it's not liking that at all. That might be okay. I don't know. You guys let me know. If you want me to adjust that, I will. Let's go and back this off. Let's go and crank this speed up here a little bit. More. Do we have speed? Speed's right here. I can adjust the speed. I assume speed is a percentage. It's at 100 right now. What do we want speed-wise? Guys, give me some percentages. What do you think? We're at 100%. Give me a percentage. How fast do we want to go? Thank you, Miniac, for checking out my under 5 CoreXY. It wasn't really CoreXY, but it was Rails. So I'm hearing some 200s, some 125s, some 150s, 125 first is what I'm hearing. Okay, let's start out conservative then. I will click on the speed button. I will say 125, and we'll say OK. So this is 125% speed we're about to move up to. You definitely see an immediate speed increase there. I think Kit has a very good idea. Kit says 25% increments. So it's definitely faster at 125%. I'm going to stand right here so you guys can see the logo on my shirt. So we're at 125%. It's obviously not breaking a sweat going that fast. That's no problem at all for it. I'm going to go ahead and take it up to 150 to make it a little interesting. The touchscreen's very responsive. Not a big touchscreen fan myself, but it's very responsive. Now we're at 150. And now we're actually moving. That's really nice. Yeah. Our fans are ramping up. One thing I wanted to comment here is that it actually is a dual cooling print head, which to me is mandatory. It's cooling from both sides. We have a left and a right fan on both sides of this, and that to me is absolutely mandatory for a really high quality print, for really good overhangs. This is looking really good. Let's go ahead. I think the shot that I had before of this was better, so I think we're going to go with that one instead. I like this shot better, I believe. There we go. Yeah, so the website says max speed's 150 millimeters per second. And so it says that it's 150. Obviously, when I'm dealing with percentages, though, I don't know what the original percentage speed was. So I can't just go to 150. I have to just kind of step it up. We would assume that their original print speed was probably somewhere in the 50 or 60 millimeters per second. 150 is looking really good, really stable. That layer quality looks really good. Yeah, I'm happy with the extrusion. It's real consistent. And while I would probably up it a couple of percentage to get the lines to adhere a little bit more to each other, I think it's a little under extruded, but overall it's looking like it's extruding very cleanly. What kind of hot end is it? It is a direct drive hot end. As you can see right here, this is the direct drive extruder right here at the top. You can see the filament path, which is really nice. But it's a proprietary one. I mean, I call it proprietary. It's a standard dual drive hot end, meaning is pushing the filament from both sides. I think at this point I want to step up the speed a little bit more. We've gone to some infill now. It looks like we're not having any problems whatsoever. So I think we're going to go with that conservative idea of going to 175. We won't go straight to 200. We'll go to 175 and get a little bit more speed out of it. Even that infill is looking really clean at this speed. Yes, this is a flying bear hot end. That is fair to say. See if I can get closer. There we go. How's that? Yep, 8mm linear rods. It's going really good at this speed. Very clean extrusion still. The infill hasn't been at all infected. The infill hasn't been at all affected by me speeding it up. Sometimes when you speed it up, you see that the infill will start getting little gaps in it because of how fast it's going. I'm not seeing any of that so far, so the extruder is definitely doing its job. I think we're going to go ahead a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit louder. I'm mainly hearing fan noises. I'm not really... There's a little bit of motor noise, but not much. No, definitely not for the speed. Let's go ahead and take it up to 200, and we're going to stop there. I don't want to fail a print just for the sake of speed, but it is a CoreXY. You expect a little bit of speed out of it. So let's go 200, and we're going to do the rest of the print at 200. So we are flying now. I wanted to show you something real quick, so excuse me moving around the camera. I think this is pretty interesting. I'm going to back off here. We are moving at a really good clip now. But let me show you this screen, because this is pretty interesting to me. So check out this screen. And I know there's a lot of glare, but right here it actually is showing the speed that it's currently moving at. I'm going to get my finger out of the way. So I was talking about we won't really know what speed it's printing. Well, apparently they've sorted that out and have added the speed measurement directly to... Apparently I'm too close. So, like right now, the max speed it looks like we're printing at is 150. I don't know why this won't focus. But I will figure it out one way or the other. There we go. Now I can focus. So it says 150. I think we're firmware limited to 150 is what it looks like to me, because I have not seen it go faster than 150 so far. Hey, Media Man. How you doing? Good to see you. By the way, I did get your email, so I appreciate you dropping in. I did get your email. I have just not had a moment to respond to you yet. So I will get back to you. So right now, they have speed limited the machine to 150. Obviously something we can fix in firmware, but wanted to show you that. So we are seeing the speed of the print change as we move around. So we're getting 150s, we're getting 60s, we're getting 30s, depending on what the move is. Yeah, so it's a speed limitation that they've built in. I don't have a problem with that. They're trying to manage expectations. They're trying to manage print quality. It says on the website it goes up to 150. They've dialed that in for you. So we can adjust that manually, but if you change the firmware, then at that point you've taken on the risk at going faster than what they've said that it should be able to print at. So I don't have any problem with that at all. There we go. Let's go ahead and dial this back in right here, and you can finish watching this print. So 150 max speed. So although we've bumped it up to 200%, the original speed of this print, it's going to limit us there so that we don't go faster than what they recommend printing at. What materials are the gears made out of? They're metal. Well, no. So looking at this whole assembly here, I'm going to pan up a little bit. The gears are plastic. I don't know which plastic, probably ABS, but I'm not sure. So the gears are plastic. The actual filament gears, for lack of a better term, the actual filament gears are actually metal. So what's driving the filament through is metal, but the gears that are driving from the motor are plastic. Okay, so I would put clipper on it. The clipper's a perfectly fine solution to go a little bit faster on here, to handle the motion compensation. It's a good idea. I've got someone asking about the Iron Man helmet in the chat, so I'll address that real quick while we watch this. I think I've pretty much covered the printer pretty well at this point. So I've had a couple of people asking about the Iron Man helmet, which obviously I don't mind talking about whatsoever. Iron Man helmet. So I've got it actually back here behind me. I'll bring it over. Maybe we'll swap here for a minute. Keep this going. There we go. So you can keep watching while we talk about Iron Man a bit. So, Iron Man helmet. Where to get started? Well, I'm going to be covering a lot of this in future videos, but I just want to address it since someone dropped in to ask. How heavy is the helmet? Not heavy at all. It's printed in PLA. It has every piece in it is either plastic, foam, wiring, what have you. Honestly, at this point, most of the weight in this helmet is probably this big coil of wires here right now. So it's not heavy at all. Like I said, it is plastic. This was fully finished. It's painted, smoothed, everything. So on this, how you go about it is I'm going to start releasing as much of the models as I can. I'm going to talk to Do 3D if they'll let me release my modified version of the helmet. If not, I will be working with some other designers to release a helmet. So we'll see if they'll let me do that. Then I'm going to have to start releasing software, the models for the actual heads-up display mounts. That will start coming in the next couple of months. I need to get it ready. If I release it the way it is now, it's not going to be useful. No one's going to be able to follow the instructions. Yada, yada, yada. It's going to be a process to release it in a usable format for anyone but a hardcore software developer or a hardcore hardware hacker. My goal is to release hardware, software models that make it easier to build one of these yourself, develop it yourself. I'm going to have wikis. There's going to be a website. I'm kind of disclosing a lot of this live on this stream because I love you guys for sticking around. I love you guys for joining me for these live videos. So while this is printing, it's a great time to just kind of talk about it. But you're going to have to be patient. I'm going to keep releasing videos on printers. I'm going to keep releasing videos on mods. I'm going to keep releasing videos on building this up. My whole idea is to have a fully functional Iron Man suit by September. So I have a lot to do in 9 months or so. So I have more to do than I have time, and I know that. So my total goal is going to be to get some of that filtering out as I work on it. I'm going to release an FAQ. I think an FAQ may be the best way to go for my next video. I hope. What do you guys think? You think an FAQ about all the comments I've got in this video would be a fun video? Would you watch an FAQ on this helmet? Let me know in the comments or in the chat here. So I've received a lot of questions about. I've received a lot of questions about why wasn't I doing a see-through OLED? Why wasn't I doing like AR glasses that you see? The best answer to that is, have you ever tried to put on an Iron Man helmet and seen out the eyes? Your field of vision is greatly limited. Number one, you have these little tiny eye slits to look through, which means that you're looking through something like this. And then secondly, can you imagine what it looks like when you put the filters on it and they light up. Visibility in an Iron Man helmet sucks. Anyone that's ever cosplay Iron Man or put on a helmet just to see what it looks like, the visibility is awful. So that's why I went with the full displays, because it looks so good in the helmet. I've got the only real limitations to my field of view is I'm kind of limited on the left and the right of my peripheral vision. So I wanted as good of a view as possible, particularly since I'm recording this for a YouTube video. And I want it to look good when you guys see it. And so if it had layers of filters on it and you really saw how crappy it looked, you'd go, well, the helmet's crappy, the computer vision's crappy, yada, 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 and that wouldn't be the case. It was just the fact that I've put a lot of plastic and crap in front of it. So long answer, shortened, is visibility in an Iron Man helmet sucks. As much as I can keep the view of the cameras unobstructed, I have a really nice view inside the helmet that's way better than what you're going to get if you do AR through lenses. And as I showed in the video, then I get to record everything, show it back. Anyway, no such effort and love put into the project. It's amazing. Thank you, Burn to Ships. I really appreciate it. Going back real quick, let's go back over to the print. Wanted to talk about it real quick. Print is looking absolutely fantastic. Infill still looks really good. Again, I probably will increase the extrusion multiplier, the flow, just a little bit, because I think it could be a little bit tighter on those individual extrusions, but it's not a big deal. They haven't done a bad job of it. In fact, most printers over extrude. It's kind of like you know, they were a little conservative on the extrusion, which is better. Scott comments, looks like the motion tuning out of the box is better than the E5S1, which has over aggressive acceleration and needs to be turned down a lot. And I agree. Is it open in the front there? Are we talking about the helmet or are we talking about the printer? Let me know what you're talking about. The printer opens in the front. It has a door on the front, which closes. Jupe, the print. Is the print open in the front? The print has some infill there. It's a wider part of the print. So what you're looking there on the front is infill still. Jupe asked, what's your favorite printer? My favorite printer, the one I've spent the most time with on this channel, is the Ender 5 Plus or the Ender 5. They are my favorite printers, not because they are the best printers out of the box or the easiest printers to use out of the box. I like how much you can use them out of the box and then make small modifications, mod them. They have an excellent frame to them. The Ender 5 Plus, the fact that it has a moving bed that moves up and down rather than in the Y direction, it's just a really nice printer to use, a nice printer to mod. It's a really good foundation. So Ender 5 Plus is my favorite. I've got a lot of videos on it. The Ender 5 was one of my first printers. That is still my workhorse that I've shown a lot of videos of. So I really love the Ender 5. This one, let me talk about the Ghost though. Let me be fair. This one's looking really good. I like the chassis a lot. And I'm liking the motion in this machine a lot. So I'm going to spend some time on it. The print. What's your favorite printer? I think you're taught to build the helmet as you wish. Thank you, Navy. I appreciate it. It's cool watching the helmet in front of it. It's really like having it. Thanks. Appreciate it. So Media Man, of course, Media Man, the creator of the Hero Me print cooling system, advocating for the Hero Me Gen 7. I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. I've got another extruder, though, that I want to try that's not going to be using the Hero Me, but more on that later. 6mm belts. Yes, they look like standard 6mm belts. Thank you, Dennis, so much. Dennis says my Ender 5 Plus videos got him into 3D printing 2 years ago. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Scott commenting on some Ender 5 S1. So let me go ahead and tell you now, the next live stream on this channel in regards to 3D printing will be the Ender 5 S1. So if you've wanted my thoughts on the Ender 5 S1, I have a wonderful vendor that has finally provided me with an Ender 5 S1. So that will be the next one on this channel. Skyrider, I see your comment. If you want to chat with me about designs, please shoot me an email. My email's in the description of every video. You can reach me on all social medias. I am always booked up with people contacting me, but I do try to get back to absolutely everyone that contacts me. I don't always succeed, but if you send me a message, it's easy to answer your questions. I will probably get back to you. So if anyone in the chat's like, oh, you didn't get back to me, it wasn't on purpose. I get lots of email, get lots of comments from people, and I do my very best to get back to everyone. The reason I do this is community interaction, community involvement. I love just hanging out with people that are like-minded, and so I will always try to get back in touch with you. Rameline, what'd you buy? Did you buy this one? Did you buy an Ender 5? What'd you buy? Tell me. Russ says Hero Me is the bomb, and he's right. I've used the Hero Me on all of my printers for a while now. Are the rods bushings or linear bearings? They look like it's hard to tell. Let me see. I think I'm going to lie to you no matter which one I pick because they have really enclosed them. If I had to guess, I'm going to say that they're bearings, but don't hold me to that. They could be bushings, but they've really enclosed them in all of their plastic. But from the side of it, I would say that they're bearings. I'm just not 100% sure. Russ says I'm the responsible for his habit as well. Thank you, Russ. I'm glad I could contribute. Okay. Media Man, I'll give you a hint on the next hot end I'm supporting because I don't think you've probably done a mod for it yet. So Media Man, check out the new ExoSlide hot end. It's different. You're going to want to attach differently. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check out the ExoSlide. Rather than go through me, if you want to support the ExoSlide hot end, please contact ExoSlide directly so he can hook you up with the models. Is the Ender 5 worth it still? Like the build volume, but I'm worried about the speeds, etc. It's worth it if you're up for some modding. It doesn't have the latest and greatest everything. Let me go ahead and say though, people have been telling me that it does support the Creality, what's it called? The Sonic Pad. So they have been telling me that it does support the Sonic Pad now. So maybe the Ender 5 Plus a Sonic Pad would get you state-of-the-art, really fast, yada yada. I'm going to be checking it out myself. I just received a Sonic Pad from Creality directly. So they did get me one, and if it supports the Ender 5 Plus, you know I'm going to do it. Let's see. More questions. I'm trying to get through this. Can you do more upgrade boards and the new ones? I'll try. Again, time is my enemy. I am still releasing the latest and greatest firmware, so the SKR3 from Big Tree Tech. I do have firmware out. You can find that on my Facebook page primarily. I do have SKR3 firmware that you can find. So that you're asking about the beginning of this. It's still printing. That infill there is still doing really well. Do I have a date for the S1 video? Probably 2 weeks. I'm trying to do a 2-week schedule for these kinds of live streams so that they don't interfere too much with me putting out like regular published content. So 2 weeks, I think, for the S1. I'm not sure what day of the week it'll be. It's usually probably on a Wednesday. I did it on a Monday this week because of the holiday. Let's see. Still running at 200 degrees? Yes. I did not bump my temperature to go this fast, and it's still doing great. So Filament on Fire is loving their Ender 6 printers. I have an Ender 6 that's on the kaputs that I need to fix, but they like the Hero Me cooling. Rameline has an Ender 5 Plus and a CR6 Max, which are printers I own both of those as well. How long have I been working on 3D printers? I think this year will be 5 or 6 years now. I started when my son was in middle school. He's graduated now, so 5 or 6 years at this point. Okay, Rameline, thank you for getting an Ender 5 Plus. That's awesome. Can we try putting on the printer's cap? Yeah, let me get through these comments real quick and I'll give it a shot. Is there a Patreon or a Discord for this channel? Yes, there is a Patreon. You can find information about Patreon in pretty much every video I publish. It's at the end cards. It's in the description. Yeah, please join my Patreon. They get more information than anybody. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to the Discord. I haven't opened the Discord for everyone. That right now is an exclusive benefit for anyone that is a Patreon member or has been a Patreon member. I don't kick you off if you leave my Patreon, at least not at this point. Trying to keep up here. A lot of people chatting. Ender 5 is one of the best printers for modding. Ender 5 Plus one's a good... Yep. Sonic Pad is very tempting. I agree. I'm going to check it out and see what I think about it. So, Big Eppin Striping, whatever. It had to go. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Clipper is nice, but over time it becomes less unique in the market as other firmwares are gaining features. True. Feature parity on all of these is fantastic. How is the Ender 5 Plus? I've got 2 of them, and it's what I primarily print anything I care about on. Be announcing big news about the Hero Me in a couple weeks. So if you're a fan of the Hero Me, if you're looking for good print cooling, please go check out Media Man. Media Man can be found on a lot of platforms. I know he's got a Twitter feed. Go check him out there. Ender 5 is awesome. Starter frame. I built both a kit and super custom printers. Yep. I love my Ender 5. Okay. Ian, we're doing great. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Okay. So, the lid. Someone mentioned the lid. Let's check that out. Let's switch over to here. And then I'm going to see about putting on the lid. Is there any magic to the lid? Doesn't look like it. Looks like I push it up through this hole here. Yep. So it turns into an umbrella. You just push that piece up and it locks. And then I don't see any sort of keying or anything. It looks like obviously I'm going to turn off that camera. So let's just get rid of it. There are little pegs on each corner, and the pegs peg in here and there. And I just put it down and then peg in the other 2 corners. And that's it. Now it is thermally isolated, is I guess the best way to put it. Can I move a moving printer? It's probably a bad idea. There we go. check it out. There's the fully encapsulated top. And it's printing. There is that back fan, so if we were to start heating up too much, that fan is a manual setting that I can turn on the display. I'm actually going to give it a shot real quick. So I go into more, and then there's a fan, and I think that turned on the back fan to make sure that I don't overheat, and that's exactly what it did. So now I've got an extra fan blowing here to make sure that that internal temperature doesn't keep rising. Gives it a little bit of airflow. What I got? Lots of chat coming through. Let's see. Yes, the 2 videos on the Ender 5 Plus and CR6 Max made me buy. No regrets. Thank you so much, Rameline. I'm glad. I'm glad you've enjoyed your printers. That's what I'm here for. If I can help you choose a printer because of one of my streams or one of my videos, that makes me really happy. I'm glad you're in the hobby. I'm glad you're happy with your choices. I take any recommendations I give very seriously, and don't do that lightly. Let's see. Some CoreXY kits coming. Mercury Run. Let's see. Mr. Kersey, when do you do a CR6 Max best upgrades? So, I do have a CR6 video I need to work on. I got my CR6, not happy with it out of the box. There's just some small upgrades I think that can be done on that printer to make it a lot better. I am working on that video. I'll do my best. So, I've got a full-time job, obviously. I recently got a new position at that job. It's taking more of my time. I'm coming up to speed on that. Give me a little bit of time to kind of reacclimate my schedule with my new responsibilities in my day job. Then I hope to be putting out a lot more content. But day job comes first. It pays the bills. So, let's see. I'm looking. Is that for aesthetic or for a reason? So the top is actually to hold in the heat so that you can print with filaments that require static temperatures while they're printing. So filaments like ABS do not like to cool down too rapidly while they're printing. And so this will hold in the heat, maintain a good thermal environment for materials like ABS or polycarbonate. And this holds in that heat to allow you to print with those. And this is a good solution. It's a little tall, I think I mentioned. They're trying to keep it away from that Bowden tube or away from the filament. But it's not too tall. It will fit on my shelf still. I can look over there, see that it's barely taller than my Ender 6 is. But I think it'll do a good job of holding in the temperature. Can we get a close-up of the corner? Sure, I can do that. Give me 1 second. I would like to look at the Mercury Run project and some of these other motion systems for the Ender 5 Plus. Let's go ahead and look. You said you wanted to see those corners and how they work. Let's go ahead and do that. Can you see that right there? There we go. It's not. It's not wanting to focus on it. Don't know why. Wants to focus on the floor. What if I zoom way in? Focus, you piece of crap. Oh well. Oh, there it goes. All right, so there you see. It's not the best focus in the world. But you can see right here, it's just a little peg that fits into this bent piece of the frame. You can see that. Again, sorry about the lack of focus here, but there it is. All right. All right, so why don't I get the top back off? We don't need it for PLA, obviously. Let Let me get the cap back off of here and let's take a look and see what that print is looking like. It is, by the way, getting warm. I can feel this cap. It is definitely holding in heat. So that's good to know. I'll have to print with some ABS and show you guys. Definitely warm. Oh yeah, definitely warm in there. It's doing a good job. It's a cap. I'm going to take a look. I'll turn this back. Then set this back up before I move it. All right. See how that is looking. Boom. How's that? Print is still looking good. All right, thank you for everyone that has joined me today. We got 63 people still watching with 105 likes. You guys are killing that like button. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. What other questions we got? Let's talk about something. I have roughly 30 minutes before I have to quit this stream. I have a standing thing with my family that I try to keep these to 3 hours. So 30 minutes at most. If we can get this print done in time, it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that CoreXY extruder also. It's a really nice extruder, particularly if you're already in the ExoSlide system, because it just bolts on. He's already got a cooling solution that bolts on as well. If we can get a cooling solution that also works with the Hero Me, man, we'd really have something for ExoSlide fans. I think I'm going to get me a drink real fast. I'm going to get me a drink real quick because I'm out of coffee and I'm talking a ton. You guys just watch this for a minute and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay. I'll pull myself back up here to the corner so you can see what I'm doing. I think I might have to put on a coat though. I turned off the heat early on in the stream because you guys said that there was some background noise and I wanted to get rid of that hum for you. I did bring a coat. I did. All right. So we're going to coat up here. Burn de Ships has a question about the Iron Man helmet. He wants to know, could you make the helmet wireless in order to connect, just so you'd have a wireless helmet and have it connect separately to the brains and everything in the chest piece? And that's a great question because it's something I want it to be. I want to just be able to take on and off the helmet, have it more flexible than what it currently is, because as you've known, if you've seen that video, that the cabling, it's something that has to go to the main area, and people may or may not like that. But to answer your question, can it be wireless? Yes, it obviously could be wireless. If you separate some of the components, without going into too many details though, if you separate some of the components, you will cause a real problem with latency. So one thing at the very end of the video, I talk about the near real-time aspect of the helmet and how that's really important. You don't want to feel like you're lagging when you're moving around in the helmet. You want it to feel like it's natural, like you're seeing it real time. So the if you make certain parts wireless, there's a latency you're going to add. There's going to be the latency to send it, the latency to encrypt it, the latency to encode it, whatever those latencies are. And so you're going to add delays. Right now, the helmet, from a software perspective, and I'm going to do some more testing on this, but from a software perspective, there's only a 20 millisecond latency between the time the camera receives the image till I actually display it onto the displays in the helmet. 20 milliseconds. That's virtually imperceptible while you're moving around. I feel very natural. If I were to go to a wireless helmet, a truly wireless helmet, I could be introducing as much as like 100 millisecond delay, which is like a tenth of a second, which is more perceptible. I'm working on some details that may make it more wireless, or I may just be finding some new techniques to make it possible. So just keep that in mind. There are technical reasons it's wired right now. As we get more technology, as I find cool new software and hardware tricks, maybe we'll get more wireless. Would be more interesting to see multiple Pis in a K8 cluster to run everything. So Matthew's asking about kind of the computation of the helmet. Could we do multiple Raspberry Pis? Could we move some of it to the cloud? Again, all that's possible. The biggest problem, and why I don't plan on moving more of the computing to the cloud for the helmet, is again latency. And quite often when you're at a convention or something, if you're cosplaying, if you're wearing the suit, Wi-Fi access is awful, non-existent. You don't have a cell signal. So if you were relying on the cloud to get you your data, you would not be able to even use the helmet anymore because you won't have cloud access. So Media Man talking about a lot more coming for the Hero Meet. Check out the chat. Thank you, and agree CR6 Max is a beast of a machine, but it needs, yep, okay. So Russ is mentioning drone FPV tech. So drone tech is a bit different than this, and I'm going to do some more research because I know a lot has been done on drone. But most of the FPV drone stuff is being done off of analog technology from what I have seen. They do a lot of transmission over analog, or it is just straight up video signal from here to there, minimal processing with you know, no overlays necessarily. So I'm going to do some more. So if I'm speaking unintelligently about FPV tech, you know, I'll get better on that. You know, Maniac is pointing that it's going digital. So I'll find out more about that. Again, it has a lot to do with where is it being processed, that kind of thing. Yeah. Some good thoughts in the chat, so I'm not going to read all of these because my throat's going to give out on me if I do. An idea of building a Pi cluster in the suit. I think that's an interesting idea. I think the biggest problem with Pis that are currently out is Pis are really falling behind in the performance category. There are some better microcontrollers on the market that are more powerful and would be better to buy a single one of these more powerful one than try to do multiple Pis, because Pis are going to use more energy. They're going to generate more heat than some of these other solutions that are out there. Pis, I know they're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. You can get Pis, or at one point in time you could get Pis pretty cheap. But there are some other microcontrollers out there that are going to overtake Pi if they don't speed up their rollouts of new hardware. Any thoughts about the bamboo printers? I don't have one. I haven't wanted to spend the money on one. Obviously, I have a ton of printers, and I don't have any real interest in spending money on a bamboo. They look fine. I know I've got a lot of 3D printing friends who love theirs and are producing fantastic prints with them. I don't have any first-hand knowledge of a bamboo, and just cost-wise, I haven't wanted to spend the money, and they haven't contacted me to have me take a look at one of theirs yet. So if they contact me and they say, hey, Chris, you want to do a live stream with one of our printers, I won't turn them down. I would love to test one out, but I don't have any interest in switching over my stuff to their ecosystem at this point. FPV is working through RF, so that would be a direct connection. Yeah. Maniac, that's exactly what I'm talking about. They're doing direct RF stuff. A lot of my stuff is in the digital processing domain, meaning going over Wi-Fi or something. There's latency. Yeah. And I know that there's a whole bunch of different paths that I could be using for the helmet in terms of like RF this way and processing this way and overlaying this way. And yeah, there's a lot to be done there. Let's see, X1 carbon is 4 times faster than a stock Prusa. Yep. Not a Prusa. There's nothing wrong with Prusas. I'm not going to start a flame war here. Not a big Prusa fanboy. There's nothing wrong with Prusas. Prusa is another 3D printing company, and they've got excellent customer support. But the carbon, absolutely faster than what they've currently got out there. This printer seems quieter than the bamboo. I don't have a bamboo, but this one's very quiet. The only thing I'm hearing, to be honest, is a little bit of the motion when it goes really fast. And I'm hearing some fan noise, obviously, because it does have the dual cooling fans for the part cooling. And I've got the one on in the back that I can turn back off now because... Did I get it? Yeah. I turned off the fan on the back again because we don't have the lid on. So, Media Man says he's getting rid of his Prusas in favor of some bamboos. Interesting choice. I think that's... I don't have a P1P yet either, so it's a great choice. Black Canyon Model Works is asking about the King Roan KP3S Pro S1. Rolls right off the tongue. No, I don't know anything about that machine. I haven't seen that one before. So I'll if I remember after this stream, I'll take a look at it. But I haven't seen that one. Hack Monkey wishes they would have gone for a Flying Bear Reborn 2 rather than a bamboo. Let's see. All right. Just some more comments. Hey, Golden Jaguar 3D, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. I don't know if I gave welcomes to Hack Monkey or Skyrider or Maniac, but you guys have been here for a long time. I appreciate you dropping in and sticking around. Let me see what percentage we're on here. We're through with the base of this. I don't think it has much left. I'm hoping we finish. Let me back up. I'm going to have to go around so I can see the screen properly. Let's take a look. Well, it says we're only at 44%. But unfortunately, I can't go any faster. So, I'll go a little bit longer here live with you. I won't cut it off if it's still printing, and then I can always come back and you guys can watch it finish. But at some point I have to think about dinner with my family. It's Eastern time here. So let me see. Like Brian's comment on the reborn printers. No, bamboos definitely aren't magic. They've got some good software on them, though. They're doing a lot of smart computing, from what I can tell, in their printers. Thank you, Skyrider. I appreciate it. Media Man still loving his X1 Carbon and P1Ps. Still no idea what I'm printing. I honestly don't know what I'm printing. I kind of wish I did, but I really don't know what this is. I'm tempted to grab my, what if I grab my cell phone and try to see if it will read with a little Google Translate, will it read what is on this screen? I don't know. I can try it. Let me see. I've got Google Translate on here. Maybe it'll tell me what it is. Let's find out. Keep walking in front of the camera. I don't know if it can read this. This is really tiny. Camera. Open camera. Translate from the tech language to English. Let me see if I pick Chinese, if it will. Chain. Nah, it's having a problem. I've seen everything from touch to chain. Honestly, it looks a little bit like it's the size of the touch screen, but I really don't know. I cannot tell. So, let me see. Anyway, don't know what it is. It's weird. Not a hot end piece that I can tell. I don't know what it would be. Is this interface through Clipper or Octoprint? It should. It's Marlin. I've seen the source code, so I know it's Marlin. So it should work with Octoprint. Clipper, you'd have to install a new firmware on it. Good night, Burn to Ships. Thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate your time here and your questions. Case for a Raspberry Pi? No, not a case for a Raspberry Pi. It's not. It's too small. Let's see. Maybe it looks like a screen holder, but I mean, I don't know why you'd take this. No, because the screen won't fit. I'm looking at the board, the back of the board. It's a maker-base board, and it wouldn't fit. It's a filament waster. What's my thought about the Prusa XL? All honestly, I do have one on pre-order. Because I really have high hopes for it. I think that they're spending enough time on it. I wish I would have been in the beta program, but I was never asked. Honestly, Prusa as a company has never contacted me for anything. So I don't have any insider information. The Prusa looks fantastic. Like I said, I do have one on pre-order. As we get more information, I'll decide whether I keep my my pre-order. Let's see. Is it a carbon filter panel? Well, again, the biggest problem I have with it is I don't know where it's going to attach. I will probably, after I get it off the printer, I'll probably walk around trying to figure out how to mount it somewhere. I can also, once I get it off, I can take the SD card, I can cut and paste the file name into a translator and figure out what the name of the file is. That I can do. Let's see. Do you plan on making an entire Iron Man suit? Yes. Yes. This is the first part. I had to finish this because this is the core technology for the rest of the suit. I think you're going to see in the next video, well, the next component video. The next component video, here's a preview, how all of this is going to start going together, what the point of doing the helmet was first, and then you'll see as I start integrating these other components, what my grand design is. So that should come out at the beginning of February about repulsors. Let's see. Did the printer come directly from Flying Bear? Yes, it's directly from Flying Bear. Is it a retail unit? I didn't buy it at a store, if you mean that. I think it should be representative of what they produce. Yes, Flying Bear provided it. No money exchanged hands. They just provided the printer for this live stream. Thank you for asking. For multicolor prints to X1 carbon, I recycle. Okay. I don't have an easy way to do that, Pygar, right now. I'll post it later. So if you're watching this stream, you want to know what this print is, be sure to watch my Instagram and or Facebook / Twitter, whatever socials you're on. I'll post a picture of this so you can see it up close, as well as what I found out it was. Yep. I'm looking forward to the tool changer part of the XL for sure. I did get, I think, not the 4 tool head unit. I think I ordered the 2 tool head unit. I still think this machine has a lot of speed left in it. I think they're being conservative with their 150, which I don't have any problems with a company that could be advertising a printer that could go a lot faster. I have no problem with them being conservative with their settings so that when you get a printer like this, I'm loving the print quality from what I'm seeing. So they're maxing it out at 150, but for a purpose, so that you get a nice print. What's for dinner? I don't know yet. I don't know if my wife figured that. My wife and I were talking earlier, and we're like, what's for dinner? We had no idea. We'll decide something after I get off this stream. Let's see. Okay, Pygar's gonna want me to do this. Let's see. I'll see what I can figure out. I'll take a picture on the screen. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to. It's a nasty little Chinese character, to be honest. Meaning it's really complex. Okay. Let's see if this will upload to the cloud, and I can send you a link to it. I don't know if does anyone know Chinese in the chat? Let's see. Let's see. Can I bring it up? Let me see if I can upload it. You know what? The easiest way for me to do is just go on Twitter and ask Twitter. Okay, I'm going to just post it here then. Crop it down so it's big enough. Save, tweet. Can anyone translate this Chinese file name? All right, if you want to see the picture and have a clue as to what it is, please go check out Twitter. I just posted the picture to Twitter. Let me know what you think it says. It's on Twitter. All right, Skyrider's emailing me. Good. Can't wait to see your email. We got some more people that pre-ordered the Prusa. I'm afraid that the Prusa XL pre-order list is like the Tesla pre-order list, and like it's more printers than they could ever produce because people just went in and pre-ordered. So I'm curious if they're going to be able to meet demand, or like if you're day 2 on the pre-order, you don't have a freaking chance of getting one. I'm really curious to see how they're going to manage that. I keep seeing new dates on the pre-orders, so we'll see. All right. This print is still looking fantastic. We are still going at 200%, or as fast as it'll let us go here. You're probably right, Maniac. The Tesla list is probably pared down, but the number of pre-orders I know at one point that they had for the Cybertruck was pretty nuts. Yeah, Pygar is saying we got about 7 minutes. This is definitely not going to finish, but you know me, guys. I will let it keep going without me. We're only at like 58%. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm gonna sign off for now. We got 54 people watching. You guys are welcome to continue to watch. I would really appreciate you keep watching. And I'm gonna just let it go. I'll be back as soon as I catch that it's done, and I will give you my thoughts on the final print, and we'll sign off. I want to just again say thank you to everyone for joining me today. It's been absolutely a blast as always. You guys are fantastic for hanging out. Again, you guys are the reason that I do these live streams, because I love hanging out with the community, and it's always a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy these. If you've enjoyed the Ghost 6 here, I have to plug the Flying Bear company for sending me this printer. They did send it to me free of charge. No money exchanged hands. I'm going to keep playing with this, obviously. I've got some ABS parts I want to print. I've got some mini helmets I might try to print on here, because I'd love to see if they'll print in some of the different materials I have. I think this is a really neat machine. Like I said, it's built like a tank. I don't think I've ever seen a print. I do not own a printer that has this much metal and is built as solid as this one. And I think they've done a really good job on the settings. Again, everything's open source. You can all their sources available on a Google Drive. I know. I do have a new firmware to put on here, but I wasn't going to do that in this live stream. So they are providing firmware updates. Again, thanks to Flying Bear for sending it over. This is the Ghost 6. Not their biggest printer, but really a solid machine, a lot of features. And again, what do we say, 309? Direct from their website. Check the description. I've got a $10 off there. You need to use that one. But here we go. Thank you everyone for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. The stream will keep going. You don't have to go away just because I'm going away. Feel free to continue to watch, and then I will be back. And as soon as I see that it's done. Let me try something. I hope you guys don't. Let me experiment on you real quick. Don't go away. Google has been pushing me to press this advertise button to insert an ad into the stream. All I'm going to do, I want to press it one time, It's going to insert an ad into the stream, and then you guys tell me, how long was it? Was it obtrusive? Tell me whether you never want me to press that again, or do you think that it's a decent way for me midstream to insert an ad, take a few drinks of a drink, make a couple bucks on the channel, and then keep going. So if you'll do that for me, I would really appreciate it, because I've never done this. So I'm going to push the button. You let me know what you think. This is totally an experiment because they keep pushing it. So let's give it a shot. Here goes the button. I pushed it. Did it do anything? Nothing happened. Is that just for later? Is this like... oh, okay. Okay. I got Wayfair. It worked great. Not a problem. Okay. So if you're a premium member, you probably saw no ad, because if you're a YouTube premium member, you don't get ads. If you have ad blocker, you never saw it, and I didn't earn a dime. No ad here. So some of you saw it, some of you didn't. Okay. Got a 2-second ad, 30-second ad, skippable after 5 seconds. Okay. So it didn't seem too bad. It seemed like if I needed a small break where I wanted to take a sip of a drink, you guys probably wouldn't mind it. So cool. I may try that in the future. It's a good way to, give me a little break while maybe earning a couple of pennies. So anyway, thank you all. I appreciate that. That was perfect. Everybody says it's fine. No one seems upset. Okay. I run this for 3 hours if I run a couple. Again, thanks, guys. I appreciate you. I will see you all when this is over with. Go get you a drink. And it was a lot of fun hanging out. I will see you in a little bit. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. We look like we are done here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to bring up my... Everybody hear me? Anyone still hanging out? It looks like 42 of you stuck around. So let me know if you're still in the chat and you're hearing me. Yeah, we are still here. So let's take a look at what we have here. Should come off pretty easily, I think, because I didn't go crazy on the adhesion. There we go. It does come right off. And go to the wide shot for just a minute and take a look. Okay, I'm going to look at it real quick first. Came off great. That first layer does not look as bad as it did when it was going down. It actually looks pretty good. Part looks overall real good. I still don't know what it is. I think it's a display holder of some sort. Let me go ahead and pull this back here a little bit. Look at the close-up camera. So here is the part. I'm going to back the printer up. So here is the part. You can see there's mounting holes on the inside for some sort of display. Again, this would not fit the display that's in there. It's too big. So this is some sort of secondary display or something along those lines. It definitely is designed, I think, to hold some sort of display this way. And then it would mount on the side here and mount on the front here. I just don't know where it would go. Let me see, does it mount any of the drill holes? Let's see, by the way, that took just under 2 hours to complete for posterity. I don't see anything, I don't see anywhere that this would fit. Anyway, let's take a look at the quality. That's what we're here for. Quality is really good. You can see the layer consistency is really good there. In fact, the only real surface imperfections I really see are from just the slicing. You can see there where it's switching layers or you know, going to different inside or outside. But overall, looks real clean. Solid piece. I don't want to squeeze it too much. This is special filament. But I'm happy with it. It's a great first print. A little bit of ringing here. But we were going way faster than we were meant to go on this one. This was 200% speed, maxing out at 150 millimeters per second. And there we go. I'll ask Flying Bear, and they can tell me what this is for, and I will make sure that I let you know on my socials if you're following me there. But the print looks great. Good mechanical part. Again, strong, printed at 200 degrees. All right, so that is about it for me. I was able to get dinner for 2 of my kids done. We're doing kind of a whatever dinner this evening. So they think it's for the Flying Bear Aoni 2. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe I got a part for a different printer. Not a big deal. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you to all 44 of you who stuck around for the end of this stream. I appreciate it. Again, thank you, Gary. Thank you, Rameline. Raymond. Oh, you just heard that cut off. It's nice. Is it a hole for the PTFE coupler? No, definitely not. It's for a screw for sure. Thank you, Pygar. I appreciate you sticking around for the moderation. And Graybeard and the Girl. TJ Dorman, thanks for sticking around. Again, hope you guys have a fantastic week. Look, the next content you'll be getting from me will be some, regular program content, either on a extruder upgrade or on the Iron Man helmet. One or both of those will be coming out very soon. Then in 2 weeks, you'll see another live stream where I'm going to be doing the Ender 5S1. And I even have another couple of printers lined up. So we might be seeing printers all year, every couple of weeks, if manufacturers keep wanting to send them to me. So again, thanks. Good to see you, Navy. Good to see you, Black Canyon. Model Works. It's been a great stream. And have a good week. I will see you very soon in some more content.